Hi, everybody. This is Anne Marie, aka the Anti-HR Lady, and I am here for another episode of Conversations with Black Women Who Coach. This is a series where I chat with Black women who are coaches, all types of coaches, and we talk a little bit about how they came to coaching, their practices themselves, what they've learned through coaching, and the offers of support and services that they provide to their clients and people like you. So if this is of interest to you, please hit the please like, comment, and subscribe, and tell a friend. Today we're talking to Julia Ruddock, who is a career coach, and she's going to talk to us a little bit about her work and how she became a coach and why she loves it so much, and also how she can help you with your career development and career progression. So Julia, welcome, first of all, and thank you for being here.
Thanks, Anne Marie. Really enjoyed the opportunity here to chat with you and the rest of us out there. I
Thank
appreciate
you.
it.
And tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do.
Yeah, thanks again. So I'm Julia Ruddock, Jamaican born and raised, and I go by the MVP Career Coach. I am a certified career development expert focused on primarily helping military veteran professionals, other MVPs out there like me, realize the American dream beyond the United States when it comes to career and life success. There are a lot of us ex-military out there, whether we're in the corporate world or we're retiring, leaving military service with aspirations to return to our home countries or home regions like me, and as well as those of us who simply want to experience life and career success beyond the typical closed loop structure in the US employment arena. So that's what I focus on. I focus on helping fellow military veterans like myself who've done the military circuit, have done the kind of business, circuit, corporate circuit, and we're looking to take that global. So that's what I'm focused on.
That's amazing. What inspired you to do this kind of coaching?
Well, I've always had the intent of returning, if not back to Jamaica, at least something close enough. And, when I was serving, there were a lot of us from another country. My dad obviously was in the army, plenty of us who come from a different place. And we came here and, did our time and, served well and honorably. But we simply want to take our families back maybe to where we come from, or at least experience life how we did growing up with no shoes and by the beach, just out there enjoying nature and stuff like that, depending on where you're from. And, I've found that having relocated back to the Caribbean, I'm actually here in the DR, in the Dominican Republic, and it's close enough back home to Jamaica. And
Yeah,
I want to
very
help.
close, actually.
Very, just an hour away now, direct flight. That's so exciting. But there are plenty of us who are out there who, for one reason or another, just want to return back to where they come from. And this, having done this myself, not recently, I've had my own kind of strategy and my own aspirations for doing this. And this has been a long time in the making. Having done it successfully and helped a few people, I definitely wanted to see, more of us be able to really realize this dream of just not necessarily being stuck in one place. If we have dreams of going back home or going, elsewhere, I don't see why that would be impossible. And I think if not now, then, when are we going to do so? So that's what really inspired me, was this internal drive to not only get myself back to my home region, but to help others who I know are out there. We talk all the time, help them get back to where they want to go to as well.
I think that I love that you're doing that. I actually, one of my favorite former clients was a ex-military person who was in a very bad work environment, but she got out of there, and now she's traveling all around the world, which I just love. Every time I see her on social media, she's like somewhere new,
Yeah.
because she realized that with the savings that she had and her pension and everything, that she could have a different kind of life, and she decided to leave and just travel. And she's been doing it, I know, at least almost 2 years at this point, and I just love to see it. So I think that's really cool. Why do you think this particular type of coaching that you do specifically is so important?
Well, I've always been one of those people. I don't know about you, Anne Marie, but I've always been one of those people who don't necessarily fit inside of a perfect little box, right? I think a lot of people will, really benefit from this because first of all, they just want to see that someone else can do it. I mean, you've done it, I've done it. a lot of people just really want to get to the point where they can at least see someone who's done it before, and that will give them the courage to do so. So I think that the type of coaching, why this is particularly important, what it is that I do, is that it gives people, first of all, a frame of reference for seeing that it can happen, but it kind of frees you up to dream bigger beyond that, right? And I think the typical structures that we come from in the United States, or maybe some other Western cultures in general, they don't really afford for us to fully express ourselves and really reach our full potential just by being inside of that box. So I think the coaching in general and the type of coaching that I provide, I help my clients to not only, just consider, hey, just moving, but all of the additional possibilities that come with making such a big decision and taking that leap. And I provide them not only the accountability, but also follow through to assist them with that through partners that I develop and I'm continuing to develop regionally in the Caribbean, especially.
Well, I think that you're being very diplomatic in your words, which I appreciate. I'm going to be a little bit less diplomatic. I don't refer to America as a box or that life. I refer to America as a gilded cage. And I think that more and more of us are realizing the possibility that we can free ourselves from that gilded cage. And that, I was just talking to someone else, and what I said to her is, to even think that you can do something different and that you can live somewhere else is revolutionary for Black people, and especially for Black women, because we have been taught, we don't know what freedom looks like. If you were born in the United States or spent a significant portion of it as a Black person, you don't even know what it means to really be free. And so to even think of that for yourself is revolutionary, and to do it, I don't even know what to call what it is that I'm doing, but people are always like, I wish I could be like you. And I'm like, you can. You just have to believe, first of all, that you have a right to have a different kind of life, right? And then you have to go forth and make it possible by planning and executing, right? And the idea that people, a lot of people feel that you have to have a lot of money. You don't. You do have to have money, but you don't have to have a lot of it. More importantly, you have to have a plan. And so having someone who can work with you to help you come up with a plan, and then for me, expeditiously execute it. That's what I always tell people. Don't navel gaze. Don't spend, years and years thinking about it. Just do it. You can build a car. This is a situation where you actually need to be driving and building the car at the same time. Because if you wait until the car is built, you'll never actually do it. Right? So this is one of those situations where if you can get to the information, get people who you can work with, who can help you, and having a coach in this particular situation is a really good idea. Especially if you're not good at planning and executing, so that you can actually stop thinking about it and start actually taking concrete steps to actually do the thing that you've been thinking about. Why do you think, especially in this niche, that having a Black woman as a coach matters, and what's the value add?
Well, I'll tell you this, walking around here as an expat where I live in the DR, there are not very many of us out there, right? I don't think people really see the sheer number of Black women doing what I call just bucking the system and say, screw it, I'm going back home, right? To your point, I don't see very many people doing that. And when I do share with people that, hey, this is what I did, it's almost like a clutch their pearl type of moment. It's like, what do you mean? I don't understand. Well, you don't need to understand, because you're not where I'm from, where I grew up in Jamaica, where we are, I think we're free, right? We didn't grow up with these kind of left and right limits, so to speak, to how we think, what we do, and things of that nature. So I like to think that it's very important to have a Black woman who's been there, done that, been successful, and now I'm taking the success on the road. And I think we have a unique we're in a unique position. I kind of compare it to helping a battle buddy out. Just like in the military, we have this peer-to-peer camaraderie and things of that nature. I think that there's a lot of opportunity for me to kind of stand up amongst the crowd of naysayers and say, yeah, this can actually be done. And as a fellow Black woman who's been there, done that, I want to see other Black women do it, and not get caught up in the kind of the corporate naysaying type of environment where people are trying to pull you back down, as opposed to being the uplifting type of force behind you to help, again, bring accountability, bring know-how, and also bring some of the what I would say, hope, actually, to help someone get over that line to whatever career success and life success looks like for them afterwards.
And I would just like to throw out that people as I like to often say, those of another hue have been doing this for a while.
This is true.
We are the ones who are late to the party, as always, right? You know, they have been doing this. When you go and you start traveling, you see them. They're living well. Yes. We are the ones who have believed that the only place that we can have a certain type of life or a good life or comfortable life is America. Others have a different hue, have already figured it out. And, you know, I'm here in the States right now as we're doing this recording, visiting family. And it's very clear to me that the life that I have, at least for me, my life is much softer than the life of the members of my family that live here. I have an exponentially better quality of life than they do. That's free from a lot of stress and anxiety that I only feel when I am here. Exactly. So I think that the most important thing is, you know, I don't think enough of us have given ourselves permission to have the life that we want, whatever that life is, whether it's moving abroad or it's something else. I think we are always waiting for something to happen or for someone to tell us that we can do what we want to do. And the thing is that no one is going to give you permission. You have to give yourself permission to have the life that you want and to live it the way that you want to live it. And other people's, you know, I always tell people other people's opinions about how I live my life is none of my business. So I don't even really know what other people, you know, people would be like, well, what do your family think? I don't know. I didn't ask them.
Exactly.
I just, you know, I'm an adult. I did what I wanted to do that was best for my happiness. And I think that is, some people may think it's selfish, and maybe it is, but I think it's okay to be selfish about your happiness.
And if not now, then when? Because a lot of us spend our time being told what to do. And no matter how much we try to push back against that, we just realize at the end of the day, no matter what we do, it just never changes. And then obviously, you are more than anyone else, you know, is well positioned to back that claim up or back up that observation. And, you know, for me, I just said, hey, I'm done. Like, I know what it is that I need to do. Maybe I don't necessarily know all of the ins and outs of getting that done. But I think particularly us Black women, I totally agree with what you said. I feel like we're always the last ones to know what everyone else has been enjoying all of these years. Being from Jamaica, I see it. A lot of folks come from different cultures, countries, and so on. And, you know, we don't think of it anyway because we're where we are. But I think the idea of simply going back to where you come from, be that the Caribbean or elsewhere, it's almost like we make a big fuss out of nothing when it's really simple. You get someone, you embed yourself in an ecosystem within a community of people who are doing this already. And that's a big deal. Big part of what it is that I do is that I help people realize through a broader community that this can actually happen, and it's not really that hard, especially for military veterans out there. With some of the with proper positioning, we can definitely get this done, probably a lot easier than others can.
Mm-hmm. And you have a very particular niche practice in terms of being in the space of being a career coach. What kind of qualities would you say that a client who is looking for the type of career coaching you provide should be looking for in their ideal career coach?
Okay, great question. And I think I mentioned this earlier, but the number one thing is accountability. Now, not accountability necessary to tell you what to do, but accountability in terms of, you know, if you come to me, I can pretty much guarantee you that you're not going to walk away from each of our sessions or each of our conversations without at least some proof in the pudding of how it's gone before, right? There are plenty of people who I've helped, plenty of examples for you to kind of see to help you stay accountable as well. So use me as your sounding board. I think that's what coaches really should primarily focus on being when it comes to accountability, is just a sounding board to help their clients just kind of try out and explore, go beyond what others have told them that they can or cannot do, and really stretch their thinking a little bit to see what's actually possible. And I think the other quality that I would probably say makes an ideal coach is someone who's not going to tell you what's right or what's wrong. I focus my practice on centering the client at everything. The client drives the discussion, the client drives the train, so to speak, drives the car. And I'm just your wing person or your battle buddy in that regard to, again, be that sounding board to help guide and provide value where it makes sense to the client. So I'm not here to tell you, hey, this is what I think, here's what is, and here's what can be based on what you're sharing, and let's partner together to make that a reality.
What kind of person, I'm going to ask you a counterpoint to that question, which is, as a coach and a career coach who works with primarily people who are coming out of the military and want to transition into a different country and different lifestyle outside the United States, what kind of person is an ideal client for you? Like, what are you looking for in a client?
Yeah. Well, what I'm looking for primarily in a client are, first of all, military veterans or someone specifically kind of familiar or affiliated with the military veteran community, because there are some things specific to the military veteran community that really apply to only us that we can leverage when it comes to making this dream a reality, number one. And then number two, you could be 2 to 3 years out from either retiring, separating from the military, or maybe you're already a veteran like me, but you're in the headspace thinking, okay, I want to do this. Give yourself maybe 2 years, 1 or 2 years. If you're at that point, then that's a perfect time frame for us to start putting some of the legwork into place to make this as simple or as easy as a transition as possible. I'm also looking for clients who are not afraid to, just try living or try, even if it's, they have so many programs out there for, 1-year visas and things of that nature that allow us to kind of try before we really invest the time and the money and the resources and our family's emotions into relocating, especially if there's someone out there. So yeah, if you're someone who's military veteran or military veteran affiliated, you have in your mind somewhere between a year or 3 years to make this move possible. And there's some other things that we'll go through in detail together in our individualized coaching sessions. But if those two things apply to you, then I say that's all we need in order to kind of move the needle in one direction, even if it's smaller increments towards taking your life and career success beyond the United States.
So can you tell us a little bit about how someone can work with you? Like, what offers do you have? What products you're offering, and how someone would go about working with you if they wanted to work with you?
Yeah, great question. Thank you so much. So first of all, just set some time up on my calendar. I'm sure all of that will be included later on to find me on LinkedIn. But other than that, if someone wants to work with me, just reach out and connect. What I offer primarily are individualized coaching sessions, and I will be taking what I do one-on-one into a more bona fide wraparound set of services that someone can just reach out and say, hey, here's where I am. Let's have an initial conversation. Let's kind of see where you are. Because when it comes to working with any sort of entities beyond the United States, there are a lot of things that need to be done to, get stuff in place to make it all legal. So we want to keep our nose clean. We want to just get our ducks lined up in properly, if that makes any sense, before we decide to do something like relocating overseas, even if it's temporarily. So that's really the first thing. I'll keep it as simple as that, Anne-Marie, is to first of all just reach out. And the type of services I provide, especially let's say if it's something like Jamaica or the Dominican Republic, I do have partners there who can assist when it comes to the immigration pieces and things of that nature in both of these countries. And I'm continuing to expand that, at least in the Americas region at the moment. Yeah.
My last question for you is, what is one important thing you'd say you've learned about yourself through coaching others?
Great question. One thing I've learned about myself, huh? All righty. I would say one thing I've learned through coaching others is that I need to just trust myself. Trust our instincts. If we're in an environment and, we continue to have experiences where we continue to run into this realization over and over again, that whatever the situation might be, maybe we need to pay attention. Maybe we need to take a step, reflect a little bit, and pay attention to the inner voices that are telling us that, maybe we've been running from these inner voices for a while and we just need to face the music. And I did that very recently myself, and I could not be happier with trusting my own instincts. So I encourage not just clients, but everybody, make time to listen to yourself, because if it's not you, I don't know who is going to be there to help you stay true to form, as I call it, and form being yourself. So
That's
yeah, that's
very,
probably
very
the
true.
biggest thing I've learned. Mm-hmm.
Listen to your own voice, and especially as women, we have intuition. It's a gift that God gave us, and so many of us spend all our everyday waking hours trying to ignore our intuition instead of listening to it. But listening to it is one of the best things that you can do, and you have to be able to sit still sometimes in order to do that. And then I always tell people, whatever the thing is that scares you, that's the thing you're supposed to do. Whatever it is, is there something you keep thinking about that you should do, but the thought of it terrifies you, that's the thing that you're supposed to do. Just go ahead and do it. It won't hurt as much as you think it will. But you should, whether it's leaving a job, moving out of the country, whatever it is, taking a trip across, taking a road trip across the country, whatever it is, if you keep thinking about, I need to do this thing, but you keep avoiding doing that thing, you really need to do that thing, right? Whatever it is, you'll be a better person for it. Julia Ruddock is a member of the Black Women Coach Directory, which I created. It's a directory that connects Black women coaches to those who need their services. You can find her in the directory, and her contact information will be linked in the description of this video. So if you want to work with her, you will be able to find her easily and do that. And I encourage you to do so. If you're in the military and you're thinking about, after retirement, what you want to do next, and you're thinking, even have an inkling that you think you might want to move abroad, then Julia is the person that you want to talk to. Julia, thank you so much for taking the time to chat with me today about your work and your practice. I really appreciate it. Thank you guys for watching today. If you are looking for a coach, I highly recommend that you check out the Black Women Coach Directory at blackwomencoach.com. And if you enjoy this content, please like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.